Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Can we talk about Jem and the holograms? Oh no, we're here again. Those damn podcasters always podcasting and such. We are the Can We Talk About podcast, and Kristen, we are Can We Talking About the same thing we've been talking about for a while, and we're within, this is the second of the 3-episode stretch here where it's just like, ooh.
We'll get through it.
Of course, I'm talking about our favorite cartoon here, that neon nightmare, that pastel phantasm, that oh-so-frighteningly fashionable 80s cartoon, air quotes, classic. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Can We Talking About Jem and the Holograms. I am false. My name is Joe.
Is that Yeti my dad? I'm Kristen.
And we are experiencing Jem and the Holograms via Shout Factory's Jem and the Holograms Truly Outrageous Complete Series box set, as well as, Kristen, The Wonderful World of Netflix. And please let me know, what are you Netflixing this week?
Last night, while I was falling asleep, I watched Casting John Monet.
Should that be something you're watching while you're falling asleep?
Well, it didn't give me child murder nightmares, if that's what you're asking.
Essentially, yeah.
No, it's a weird documentary. I don't know if I liked it yet, because I kind of knew the premise going in. Have you seen anything about this? I don't know if you're into true crime or anything.
Well, I know that there's the whole thing with John Benet Ramsey has been, it's occasionally when it's a slow news month, People magazine will be like, I think we got a new suspect in the case.
Katy Perry was John Benet. She's still alive.
And they put it on the cover of that same old picture of her in the fucking white dress with the curly hair, not curly, but whatever, like the made-up hair and shit, because she's a rich lady kid.
But yeah, the premise of the documentary is that they are casting a reenactment, and they have interviews with people from the Boulder area in Colorado who are the people auditioning for these roles, and they all kind of give their own perspectives on what they think happened. And then at the very end, they use a bunch of the actors kind of playing out different scenarios of how people have theorized that it might have happened, and don't really give a definitive answer, and it ends with a very creepy scene of one of the children actors as Jean Monnet dressed up in a pageant outfit dancing to Here Comes Miss America on the dark soundstage.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
That sounds like an interesting take on it, at least, compared to, just like, oh, was she, what happened? Did they murder her?
Was it a child sex ring? Here, let's find out. But yeah, it was pretty good. Also, the new season of Sense8 is out, so I'm going to be watching that soon.
I saw this morning that season 12, I think, of Always Sunny is on Netflix, so I'll be watching that after recording today.
Netflix is just dumping a bunch of shit into my lap, and I don't know what to do with it all.
I'm still going through the original series of Star Trek, too, and it's like, fuck, there's so much to watch. We're living in a wonderful age.
Mm-hmm, and I'm still going through my new game plus of Persona 5.
As far as Jem goes this week, Kristen, it is another one of those infamous episodes that I didn't realize that all 3 of the episodes that we've ragged on a ton of times are right in a row.
Mm-hmm, yeah. It's the dark period.
I mean, even then, really the only thing that we've ragged on this episode about is, other than, I think, occasionally mentioning once of Pizzazz going, mistaking the Yeti for her father, is using the Shangri-La song as, here's a bad use of a Jem song. Here's this is
a song so episode-centric that it's just terrible.
That they're never going to use it ever again, right.
A pointless song.
Kristen,
uh-huh.
I got a level with you. Shangri-La, good song, actually.
It's not bad.
It's the song we're going to be using in the episode. I know we didn't... Sometimes we forget to talk about which song we're going to be using in the episode.
Well, let the music play is fucking terrible.
It is. You're right. And we already used You Ought to See the View from Here, I'm pretty sure.
I think so, too.
So, by process of elimination, but it's not one of those process of elimination things where we're like, fucking let me take you to the Mardi Gras, where it's just like, oh, fuck.
We don't have anything to choose from here. We just kind of gotta bite the bullet, where, like, Shangri-La has a melody to speak of.
Yeah, and actually, I'm sorry, we chose Everybody Wears a Mask, I'm pretty sure, so...
Oh, well,
Kristen, there's also a lot of snow in this episode, and after the middle of nowhere, I'm fucking Kristen, we had a fucking snowstorm in March with 2 feet of goddamn snow in northeastern Pennsylvania. I don't want to see snow ever again.
Yeah, the snow messed up my SEPTA schedule permanently, the public transportation in Philly. So after a while, my bus that used to come every 10 minutes just sometimes wouldn't come. Not
to mention, Kristen, we've got some of that weird, like, 80s Orientalism, mysticism kind of on top of it that's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's too bad because there's some good moments in this episode, but then it gets, like, real racist.
Well, let's get that theme song going, and then, we'll get on with it.
Brace for racism.
Bracism for racism.
No!
We start off, Kristen, and I see written by Richard, and I'm like, okay, I start writing down the name, and then I see Merwin, and I'm like, wait a minute.
What? How dare you?
Rick Merwin's trying to fucking pull one over on us.
Hiding in plain sight. We noticed.
So he's back from writing the rock fashion book and In Search of the Stolen Album, which, I mean, obviously I think we said in the, Kim Tacky, they're perfectly 5 out of 10 Gem episodes, I'd say.
They are the decentest of decent.
They are the decentest of decent episodes, and this follows suit, probably being about a 4 or a 5.
I think the racism takes it down to a 4.
Yeah, probably. Maybe he wanted to be taken more seriously, naming himself Richard in this episode about a fucking mystical Asian city.
Yep, sounds great.
So we start at the dinner table at Starlight Mansion here. We've got some adventure man named Andrew. He is relaying his latest tale of jet setting to the holograms here. Kristen, this tale that he is telling is really racist, actually.
Yeah. It's like,
Maybe the worst part of the episode, where it's just like, it starts with him, it's just like, and then the natives came out with their fucking stones and spears screaming bloody murder at us. But as we ran away, they stopped and like, oh, why'd they stop? And as it turned out, we were treading on their ancient burial ground.
It's sacred, so they couldn't follow us. We definitely weren't supposed to be there either.
Oh, underdeveloped cultures. They're so crazy.
Oh my god, they think that there's such thing as ancient, sacred burial grounds? Please, it's a graveyard.
And to make it worse, Jerica goes, that was a great story, Andrew. No, it wasn't. It really wasn't.
It's like when you're at a family dinner and someone starts telling, a real racist story about an encounter they had with a non-white person, and you just know it's gonna be bad, but at the end you have to be like,
Well, I was gonna say, you could at least kind of fucking pile on the sarcasm of just, kind of looking away and be like, yeah, that's a great story.
Fantastic. Pass the buns.
Jerica is just, really wow, that was great. And no, please, Jerica.
I'm captivated. Tell me more.
Apparently, though, Andrew is here because he is a great musicologist, which, you'd never be able to tell from that fucking story. He just sounds like racist Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it sounds more like a colonialist to me.
Gem and Company seem to be struggling with, I say second album syndrome, but again, we have no idea what the fuck, whatever. No, Glitter and Gold would have been their second album. Wait a minute.
Who knows?
Everything is starting to sound too samey, and they want to explore different musical styles. And
that sounds like a dig at Kimber.
She should have been like, well, what the fuck? I'm trying my best here.
Okay, you tell me how we're gonna fix this problem. So Andrew, for some reason, his first thought is, have you ever heard of Shangri-La?
And Jerica is just like, is that mythical Asian city in Tibet that's all mystical and magical?
And he's like, oh no, a myth. It's real!
His proof being, I know it exists!
He is no proof. They've never met this man before as far as we can tell. And they're like, let's go to Tibet!
Well, Asha, at least, tries to do a little investigative work here. She's like, have you ever been there, Andrew? And he's like, nope! Basically, all Andrew has to go off of is, I've heard people went there, but they've never returned, to my knowledge.
That sounds like they went out into the snow and died, but... I trust this musicologist.
Jerica stops the episode in its tracks, and before this shit gets too crazy, and is just like, what does this have to do with music? What?
Well, the people of Shangri-La are the keepers of all the art, music, and poetry the world has ever known.
Oh, okay. And Kimber, that Kimber, is just like, I wonder if they have all the old Monkees records.
I was just like, Kimber, get serious.
I'm just curious.
There's a little bit of dunking on Kimber in this episode.
A lot, if we're to believe that we need a new musical style is them dunking on Kimber too.
Yeah, they also tell her that she never shuts up later.
Kristen, it's 1987-ish in Gem, we can assume, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And we can assume Kimber is at least 18.
Uh-huh.
So Kimber is officially classifying anything older than her as old, which of her going, the old Monkees records is basically like me going, all those old Guns N' Roses records.
Ancient Guns N' Roses. All the members of which are still alive as far as I know.
Which I'm pretty sure in 1987 was the year that Appetite for Destruction came out, I think. So...
Well, there you go. It's a time loop.
I know we've said that Welcome to the Jungle was done by Gem before Guns N' Roses, so, aha.
That's great. Still.
Eat it, Axl Rose.
Yep. You copied a girl band.
They also got Nirvana right, as we'll see in Season 3.
Yeah.
Shayna, in a voice that sounds almost exasperated, is like, something tells me we're headed for Tibet. It's fucking Mulberry all over again.
People, did they just get up and go on a whim? How much money do you have to have? I haven't left for vacation in 3 years. I live here and I will die here.
Kristen, given the option, would you rather go to Tibet or Mulberry?
Mulberry at least seems like it would have some restaurants.
We horizontal wipe to a garage that isn't the rat hole. It seems it's actually...
What the fuck?
I think it's the garage that Tech Rat was holding the fucking floating platform in.
He's getting the rat hole sprayed for bugs.
For rats.
For rats. But anyway, he has a Google alert set for Jem.
Which, Kristen, I'm going to be honest, I like that, you know, Rick Merwin's doing something different here. It's not Lindsay going, Jem and the holograms are going to Tibet. Or Eric being like, I have this cool guy in Tibet who wants to sell me some land.
Yeah, it's Tech Rat, like, utilizing the mysterious resources that he's supposed to have.
Right, and I find it the most believable, actually, of just, even though it's Tech Rat being like, oh, what's that? It's my gem alert. And then it's like, what's this? Let me check the global flight database. They're going to Tibet. What could this be?
Yeah, like, they don't even put all of the pieces together. He just calls up Eric, and he's like, I don't know what they're doing, but Jem and the holograms are going to Tibet. And then it becomes their mission to figure out why Jem and the holograms are in Tibet by following them there.
I like how Tech Rat has a bright orange Mattel phone, like a bat phone, that he uses to call Eric.
Perfect, yeah, it's a single line that goes only to his dad.
And then when we cut to Eric in the studio, he goes, the holograms are going where?
And the Misfits seem to still be recording despite no one at the controls. Which I guess Eric was producing them at that point. Sure.
Eric says for Tech Rat to keep him posted, but in a voice that doesn't really sound too interested in going to Tibet. And as I don't know, I mean...
Eric is probably sick of going cold places too.
Eric, for some reason, his first thought is to go over to the Misfits and be like, do you know why Jem and the holograms might be going to Tibet?
And Pizzazz just straight up doesn't know, and Roxy is like, do we get a prize for answering correctly, Eric? Roxy talks a lot in this episode.
You get a fucking round-trip ticket to the Himalayas. I'm serious. Fucking, what would she be doing there?
And Pizzazz is like, hey. Eric got a point. Why is Jem going to Tibet? I bet there is some sweet Tibetan gold.
Why would Jem take a fucking train tour of the southwestern United States? Why would she go to Alaska?
Why does Jem do anything? Jem is like the most arbitrarily whimsical person that has ever existed in the cartoon. Every 2 seconds they're like, let's go!
So it looks like the Misfits are going to be hot on their trail. So we fade to the holograms. They're already off a plane in Tibet here, and we are spared the visual of them getting off the plane. They are actually just off the plane.
Remember when it was silly that Kimber suggested that they go to Paris tomorrow?
That shoestring budget, Kristen. They're working on higher money now.
Now they got that cash.
So the holograms all have their mountain climbing gear on. Aja has a Genghis Khan hat on. I don't know how else to describe that.
I don't know. They all are wearing, like, fashion coats. Fashion winter style coats.
It's better than the first thing that the Misfits bring later. Definitely.
Yeah, none of it seems like the most utilitarian, but what the fuck ever.
We're introduced to Andrew Sherpa here, named Milky or Nookie or something.
I can't remember.
I went with Nookie after this, but I'm pretty sure it's Bookie or something.
Fred Durst. That's the only thing I know. Oh no. About. Oh no. Oh no. Wait.
Come on. Fred Durst. What is the band Fred Durst plays in, Kristen?
Fred Durst's band is, of course...
Don't Google.
I'm not.
Come on, keep rolling. What?
That's not helping.
All of this is staying in, by the way.
Fred Durst and the Boys. I can't remember.
Fred Durst and the Boys. Wonderful.
Duran.
I'm not going to tell you.
I'll remember it.
So they all head off at this point to hike toward their base camp. Rhea peppers in a little Spanish again. She just goes, madre, in the middle of fucking being like not excited about the prospect of hiking in cold weather or something.
Well, what we don't know is that Rhea's mom hates snow. So it was appropriate. Limp Bizkit!
Limp Bizkit.
I don't remember.
Song number 1 of the evening.
Limp Bizkit.
Rollin' by Limp Bizkit, which we'll play for you right now.
skipping right over, Kimber wrote this song about looking for Shangri-La because she knew it was going to be a fucking drag.
But she wrote a pretty good song on the plane.
Again, melodic, which is more than I can typically ask for when it comes to some of the more garbage Gem songs. Like, again, Let the Music Play Later is like, what the hell?
It's like they're trying to do like a weird psychedelic song, but it doesn't work on any level, so...
And there's no rhyming, and everything just kind of overlaps with each other uncomfortably. But man, the music videos in this are great because we have one really psychedelic one, or at least mildly psychedelic, I wouldn't even say very. And then we just have two other videos that are... Well, there's snow, isn't there?
People walking in snow. And even then, in Let the Music Play, you say psychedelic, but the imagery is not interesting.
No. It could have been, but it wasn't. So
Shangri-La here, you got ice caves, snow. I noted that Aja is the only one with a hat in this fucking God knows how cold it is. And
Jim's not wearing gloves. Does she want to have hands?
Well, she might have... she can't be wearing gloves for when she catches a snowflake here and blows it away.
She could have. Have her wear leather gloves.
Perfect for snow.
Better than no gloves.
Jem sees a glowy city on the horizon and then, shakes Kimber's shoulder and points and it's not there and Kimber's just like, what?
Jem has mountain madness.
She's hallucinating already. Yes, mountain madness. Mm-hmm. Kristen, is there a frozen wasteland version of an oasis? Like an area with a fucking space heater?
A fjord?
I have no idea what a fjord is.
Geologically, a fjord, or F-I-O-R-D, please. I know how to say Bjork and I know how to say fjord, is a long, narrow inlet with steep sides or cliffs created by glacial erosion. So it looks like it's like a gap between mountains. So not really an oasis.
No. I put a hot spring, but that might be like a one-way ticket to hypothermia.
Depending. If you're in Iceland, then it's a one-way ticket to paradise.
So they all rush towards the illusory shining city because they see it again, but it is just that. It is an illusion. And, I will find you someday. Boo-doo-doo-doo. And that's the end of the song. We fade to nighttime. Camp has been made by everyone, and Andrew is just like, so hey everybody, I hope you're excited. The village is only a day away. Is
all of this walking in the snow really worth cultural appropriation? Because let's be honest, that is what this is.
Couldn't they go to fucking India or something? Couldn't they be like the Beatles and just be like George Harrison and be like, oh, that sitar is cool. Can I play that?
I think that's one way to do it instead of learning the fucking magic healing music of Shangri-La.
Maybe they didn't want to have an India episode. Who knows?
I can only imagine that would have been more racist.
I was going to say, maybe it probably would have been even more racist. So the next morning, we see the Misfits, and hoo boy, I got a few notes here on the Misfits, Kristen.
Let me hear it.
Eric is wearing a Russian hat, which he quickly disposes of for basically a Genghis Khan hat.
Yep, he eats it and gets a bigger one.
Pizzazz thought dressing heavy meant bringing a fur coat to the fucking Himalayas.
Why not?
Roxy is wearing too many layers, so she looks like she's wearing fucking 30 t-shirts, and she has a cowboy hat on.
It's like she wanted to have something to very quickly indicate that she's American.
Jetta is dressed like a fucking page boy and looks like she should be hawking newspapers on a street corner.
Doesn't her coat have, tuxedo tails on it? What the fuck?
And I couldn't find anything bad about Stormer, so I just said she didn't bring a hat.
She has a scarf on her head.
Yeah, she has a headscarf we'll find later.
Stormer also doesn't say much, though that might be because later Stormer's line gets lip-synced by Roxy.
Does it? I didn't even notice. Shit.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love when that happens.
Mm-hmm. I could tell because the line expressed genuine concern for someone. So I was like, yeah, that wasn't Roxy.
Roxy's not saying that. Come on. Is Roxy the least compassionate of all the Misfits?
I think it's a three-way tie between everyone but Stormer.
Three-way tie of 0 for everyone that's not Stormer.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're introduced to Mian, which is the Sherpa of Eric and company here. And Eric just he said a group of girls came through here earlier so we could track them. The Misfits are all ready to go, and of course, here we go, wah, 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 Pizzazz being like, Eric, get our stuff, and then Eric turns around, and it's a big old pile of shit.
He shouldn't have let them bring that much stuff.
Did he not learn anything from Aztec Enchantment?
Come on.
Back to Gem and company. Jem's already doing the, are we there yet?
I don't know why they agreed to do this if they were just going to complain the entire time.
Apparently a snowstorm. So Andrew says, it snowed since the last time I was here. You think? Are you serious, Andrew?
It looks like it snows most of the time.
And he says that covered the path, the correct path to them. And Jerica hears this as, are we lost then?
And they're like, kinda. So, okay, cool. Also, this is just me. I assumed that Andrew hadn't been to this area in, like, several years. So, especially for him to be like, oh, it snowed since I was here. Like, you fucking think?
I mean, that's what he made it sound like, is, it's been a long... Like, it's not like he takes weekend trips to fucking
I was there
Hunts
last
Village.
week. Yeah, it snowed. Weird. They're
so lost. So, Andrew's just like, well, let's just take some rest near these rocks over here. And, surprisingly, Kristen, they're walking along, like, a kind of precarious ledge, but nobody, like, has any danger of falling at any point.
No, we save the falling for later when it's slightly safer.
Kimber just drops right on her ass and is like, I'm so beat I can barely talk.
Jem goes, that's a first.
Clearly in good spirits despite the threat of them being lost in a frozen tundra forever.
Hey, you know what? Gotta keep spirits high.
The camera pans up and there is an animal noise as a figure walks out of view. What could it be? And then, Kristen, the cartoon, where I thought there was going to be some kind of mystery, the cartoon reveals itself immediately, and it's just like, hey, Yeti!
Yeah. Oh, it's a friendly Yeti, no problem.
Okay, I know that in the middle of nowhere I had a problem with a friendly seal. I have a bigger problem with a friendly Yeti, Kristen.
The Yeti at least seems like it has an excuse to be, like, mildly intelligent, to, like, think to itself, I should save this person because they are in danger, or I should help these people, because that's, like, vaguely humanoid.
I was gonna say, it does have a humanoid body compared to a seal.
The seals are so smart that you could tell they're just gonna cause some shit.
This Yeti isn't gonna be, he doesn't need, like a cartoon look to him, like a mohawk and a monocle and shit like the seal did, to look more human.
No, he is already looking scary but friendly.
Jem goes, what was that sound? I'm gonna go check it out. And nobody bothers. I mean, the worst we get is Nookie is just kind of like, hey, it's kind of dangerous to go alone out there, so be careful. But nobody wants to, like, buddy system with her.
If I were there, I would say, no? Stay here, Jem.
Don't.
But whatever.
Jem wanders off, and then the Yeti bursts out from the snow. And they kind of awkwardly posture at each other, like 3 feet apart. And Andrew and Nookie, like, arrive here to grab Jem and, like, drag her away. And then Jem goes, wait! I don't think he wants to hurt anyone.
I'm a white woman and a Yeti whisperer.
It's my job to help the unfortunate, like this Yeti.
Take up the pink woman's burden.
Jem then pets the fucking Yeti on the head like it's a dog, and is just like, he's just frightened. I bet we could even be friends.
And then fucking Andrew jams his fist in between them like, let me touch the Yeti.
He becomes the guy who's just like, I want to touch the cat. Why do you get to touch the cat? And then the cat runs away.
Yeah, you try to pick up the cat from someone else's arm, and then the Yeti is like, no! And he just kind of shambles off.
Nookie says that there's a legend that the Yeti can lead to Hunts Village, and, but Andrew fucking scared him away, so good job, idiot.
So they're gonna die out there, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Dumbass. No wonder you never found Shangri-La if you're gonna be scaring Yetis all over the place.
We fade to the Misfits. They are all wearing different clothing now. I wrote, when did they get a chance to change, but it doesn't really matter.
Nope.
Mian is telling Eric that they need to climb the rock face in front of them here because it's a shortcut, and they need to catch up with the holograms and shit. And the Misfits aren't too happy about this, as I don't think I would be, because I don't want to climb a rock face, Kristen, especially in a place that I've never been before.
They seem to believe they're capable of doing it, though, because they're like, okay.
But they do it, and yeah, as Mian is preparing everything here for them to climb, Pizzazz goes, move faster, we're turning into frozen dinners!
You're losing your edge a little bit, Pizzazz.
The Yeti appears at the top of the rock face here, but everyone starts climbing anyway. I thought the Yeti was gonna, throw a rock down at them, but he's just kind of hanging out, pretty much.
Ah, that's weird. Those people are climbing up this mountain face. It doesn't seem safe, but we'll just keep an eye on them. Eric
loses his grip at one point and falls back here, causing all of the Misfits to fall as well, and they all fucking Gwen Stacy themselves on the rope tied to their waists.
Awesome. So, everyone's dead at the end of segment 1.
Last Resort's all over again.
Ugh, man. Whiplash.
I pine for a snow episode like Last Resort's.
I know, the series blew its load too early.
End of segment 1, yes, Pizzazz is just like, Eric, do something, as they're all hanging precariously.
They're all things considered, pretty calm about this.
Pizzazz only gets her, screamy, really, the rumble in her voice only comes out once in this episode near the end, and it's just her being annoyed, which is the best Pizzazz voice, is when she gets annoyed, and there's just that and her voice under what she's saying.
The engine inside her throat turns on.
Segment 2 starts. We're back with Jem and company. They seem to be making good time, but oh, it's the Yeti. Oh, fuck. Oh, God, it's the Yeti. Oh, wait a minute. He just wants everybody to follow him.
He's making a this way gesture. Because, of course, Yetis are known for their pantomime skills.
Kristen, why aren't the holograms scared when this fucking weird monster appears when Jem, Nookie, and fucking Andrew are the only ones that saw it?
I'm sure Jem told them all about how she so quickly made friends with this Yeti, and then Andrew fucked everything all up.
The Yeti leads them to the Misfits, who are still in this dangerous position, and Jem goes, the Yeti brought us here to rescue them. Should you?
Well, that's not a question, Joe. Jem and the holograms are morally good.
They follow Jem and the holograms all the way out to fucking Tibet on a whim, and I think the Misfits, for once in their goddamn lives, should realize the folly of their actions by freezing to death or falling into snow.
But nah, it's a cartoon, so goodwill.
Andrew's just like, oh, this is amazing, in reference to the Yeti, I'm assuming, and Kimber goes, it's amazing that we're gonna rescue the Misfits, even though I'm pretty sure you've done it. Like, this should be at least strike 2 after fucking Rock and Roll Express.
They did on Island of Deception as well.
Oh, you're right. Oh, God.
Yep.
This should be strike 3 then. No more saving after this.
Yep, they're done. Even Steven.
Pizzazz refers to Jem and company as Jem and the Wimpograms as well, which I think Pizzazz can't, like, burn when she's cold.
She's losing it. I don't know what's happening.
Jem says, we can't just leave the Misfits, and we have, like, a weird... Samantha Newark slips into, like, a British thing here, where she's just kind of like, but we can't leave the Misfits behind.
And Jenna's like, stop it, that's my thing.
And as they get to the bottom here and Kimber is, like, helping Stormer up, she just immediately, what the fuck is going on with Kimber here? Where she's just like, whoa, Stormer, you need to go on a diet!
That's so rude.
Fucking lovers quarrel over here, Jesus.
I know, right? That's why the Misfits ditched them. They're like, don't call your girlfriend fat in front of everyone.
Jetta is helped up as well, but ends up falling back down into Andrew's arms, and that there's no reason for that to happen, but it did. And after all of the Misfits are helped up the rock face here, they just kind of beat it, and Jem and company have to climb up on their own.
Erica pats the Jem group Sherpa on the shoulder, and he's like, hey, good luck, buddy.
Nookie, Kristen.
Okay. Fred Durst.
The holograms are all pissed they didn't even say thank you, and they didn't also bother to ask, what are they doing out here?
I think they know.
As this conversation is going on of them being like, well, I guess the Misfits are here because they want the music of Shangri-La too. Aja and Shayna are both showing off their fucking Olympic climbing skills of Shayna doing the gym class rope, and Aja with, like, from the shot, I mean, obviously she probably is tethered, but it doesn't look like she's tethered, so she's just literally climbing a rock face casually.
Extreme.
Fade to the Misfits. They make it to Hunsa Village here. Eric asks, why the fuck did Jem and company want to come all the way out to this goddamn remote village? What are we doing here? What am I doing with my life? Oh my god.
And even Pizzazz is like, well, probably something to do with the music. But we got here first, so we're gonna steal the music. All the music. I'm gonna eat the music.
They set up their instruments and everything, and Eric's just like, so we can't record here because there's no electricity in this village. And Kristen, were they gonna...
What?
From the way that you're framing it, were they going to steal the music of this village by just recording a song here?
I see no problem with this.
We have an old Tibetan woman, she's the village eldress, is how I referred to her, I guess, throughout.
Yeah, sure.
Asking, well, what the hell are these people doing here? What's with that goddamn neon-haired woman? Why does she have the devil in her? I could feel the devil in her.
There's a nice exchange where Pizzazz is like, are you in charge here? And the lady's like, yeah. And Pizzazz is like, okay, good, help us.
Pizzazz cuts right to the chase and she's like, where can we find some damn music?
They get the wisdom imparted on them of, the music you seek is in Shangri-La. You heard of it?
Pizzazz is just like, okay, how do we get to Shangri-La? And Village Elders is just like, nah, fuck you. I'm not showing some unworthy motherfuckers like you guys. Get the fuck out of here.
So why even bring it up?
Why even mention Shangri-La in that case, right?
This lady, her purpose is just kind of to be difficult.
To be an asshole, yeah.
Yeah, she's just kind of a dick for the whole episode. Like, yeah, obviously you're not obligated to show these lady American, mostly rock group, your mystical music, but, like, she does so many weird arbitrary things. Like, it's Shangri-La. Oh, where is Shangri-La? Fuck you. Why should I tell you? It's like, well... Maybe just don't say that she relishes in being a dick.
Roxy's answer to, where the fuck is Shangri-La becomes, let's just find it ourselves. Fuck it, let's, whatever.
Yeah, so a younger lady heads over and she's like, hey, what's up? I like the Misfits.
She goes, my great-grandmother has never seen people like you. People with the devil inside them.
So they start being pissy at her a little bit. And this is where Roxy talks instead of Stormer. Because Roxy says, in Stormer's voice, Don't mind them. What's your name? Which Roxy would never say that.
And Kristen, I think, not all the Misfits have, hashtag not all Misfits have the devil inside them. It's just Pizzazz and Eric has devil traits. I would say Roxy and Jetta are kind of like trickster gods, maybe, at best. And Stormer's a beautiful angel.
That's true. Stormer never did anything wrong in her entire fucking life.
The girl introduces herself as Lysan, and the village elders is Lowen, something like that. Lowen. We fade back to the holograms here. They wasted a ton of fucking time rescuing the Misfits. They're gonna have to make camp again, presumably in the exact same spot.
Great. I'm really getting comfortable. I think I could live here my entire life.
They won't get to the village until morning, but it's better than climbing in the dark. We cut back to Hansa Village at this point. Lysan is telling the Misfits that she can lead them to Shangri-La because the magic is there.
Sure.
First thing in the morning, they'll head off, Pizzazz says, and then goes, "Sweet dreams, everyone," in a pretty general tone, but because it's Pizzazz, it's gotta be facetious, right?
Yeah, what we don't know is that every time the Misfits go to sleep, "Sweet dreams, everyone" is Pizzazz's signal that she's gonna haunt their nightmares.
I hope you wake up in the morning. And then she puts out the fire.
You never know what can happen in the dark of night. Psh, good night.
It must be pretty damn cold in this place, Kristen. Did Pizzazz need to put out the fire?
She cannot sleep unless she's,
Total darkness, of course.
Yes, she needs to go into a sensory deprivation tank to keep the demons at bay.
We fade to the next morning. Lowen is hanging out outside the village here when the holograms arrive, and is just like, "Oh, hey,
She's just
cool."
ready for a meet and greet.
It's like, "Oh, cool, more neon-haired women, cool. Your friends went to fucking Shangri-La, so, that happened."
They don't know how to get there, and my granddaughter doesn't either, so they're gonna be back. Gem and the holograms are like, "Wait, our friends? Oh, you mean the Misfits?"
No.
No, they're not our friends.
No, that's hilarious.
They left us to die out in the tundra.
So, you want to tell us how to get to Shangri-La, lady? I mean, it took us 3 days how to get here, so,
And
be
she
really
goes,
nice.
"Fuck you, nope." And then she throws up some double deuces and backflips out of there.
"I detect a falsehood in you. Get the fuck out of here."
I'm not surprised. I know that the thing with the Misfits was like, you guys are just bad people, so you don't get to see them about Shangri-La, learn the music, whatever.
Right.
They weren't false. They were 100% sincere in their desire to one-up Gem and the holograms. So I feel like there is some gray here, whereas with Gem, it's just like, nah, you fake as shit.
I mean, Lowen said basically when they get back later, Lysan is just, like, "Oh, it's my fault." It's like, yeah, you're right, it is your fault, because they're greedy as shit.
Dumb little kid. Learn your lesson. Take your lump.
So we cut to the Misfits and Lysan at this point. Stormer is getting worried and asks if they're going the right way, and for some reason, Lysan spills the beans here, where she's just like, "Only Lowen knows for certain. Didn't you say you could lead them to Shangri-La, you fucking dumbass?"
Joe, I have a question.
Yes, please.
If Shangri-La disappears when other unworthy people find it anyway, why does it matter?
Maybe she thinks that the Misfits are worthy because she's young and a dumbass.
No, maybe.
But Lysan is just like, "It's probably this way, so let's go ahead." And then we get that fucking bit.
Why does a map exist, and why is it a secret how to get there if unworthy people can't get in anyway? Why couldn't Lowen just give them the map and say, "Go find it, motherfuckers," and then they can't?
Song number 2 of the evening.
Ah!
You ought to see the view from here. Hey, we played this song before too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Also, they spelled auto with 2 T's, I noticed, which I don't think is correct.
I don't think so either. That's slang.
So we got a rainbow here. This is still a good song, obviously. A high-tier Misfits song, I would say.
I would say so, too. I like the hang gliders better because there's more death and destruction, fashion, and fame, but...
There's also a better view from hand gliders than fucking, "You ought to see the view from here, snow."
Let's just jump off of a cliff and stare down at our feet and consider death.
Pizzazz jumps down from a rock ledge, suffering no injury, and then the rest of them do the same with Lysan in slow motion here.
We get a cut 4 times of them falling. They really need to stretch out the imagery in this because they were like, what do we do with all of this snow?
And then they all land on their asses.
Yep, and Pizzazz laughs at them.
Pizzazz gets a snowball in her face for her trouble laughing at them here, and we see that the Yeti is, the Yeti's here, and somehow escapes detection despite standing directly behind Pizzazz in one of the shots here.
Yeah, it's, Yetis known for their stealth, of course.
They do the cartoon thing.
And love of rock and roll.
They do the cartoon thing here where the Yeti, moves behind Pizzazz as Pizzazz is looking in one direction.
Yeah, so again, Yeti's also known for their playfulness.
Misfits also known for their playfulness, where they all do a weird bird skip through the snow here.
Whee!
And the Yeti is, like, behind a rock as this is happening, and he, like, puts his hands together near his face, and he's like, whoa! Like he's...
Oh, I am so feeling this girl band.
Why? God, why? Oh, God, why?
The Yeti just kind of disappears after a while, doesn't he?
They all slide down an ice ledge at the end here like a slide, and I believe Roxy even goes, I could do this at an amusement park, and I don't know if that's a complaint or a compliment.
Yo, this icy hellscape is just like an amusement park.
And they ended up losing Lysan at this point. She slid under some snow briars, which I had to look it up, Kristen.
She's very aerodynamic.
She's smaller, so that's why she goes faster.
Yep.
In classic Mario Kart fashion.
Of course.
Oh, wait, no, the bigger guys go faster. Shit, the smaller guys have better acceleration. God damn it.
Ah.
Aha, she has better acceleration. There we go.
There we go.
So
she drifted.
That's how she got caught under the snow briars here. And, Kristen, I had to look up snow briars, because I'm not sure if that's a thing, because it sounds like it's made up, especially if they're poisonous.
Yeah. So, what'd you find?
I didn't.
Okay.
I gave up, because I was just like, is she talking about bramble? Is she talking about a thicket? Because I spelled briars wrong at first, too. And I only remember this looks like the
ice cream.
I only know bramble because of Donkey Kong Country 2. I wouldn't want to be trapped near the shit, is basically the bottom line. I looked into Snowbriar and I was just like, thorns. No thanks.
Hey, I've accidentally walked through thorns before. It sucks. Especially when you're wearing shorts.
Yeah, that's why I'm not a big shorts person if I'm walking in foresty areas.
You know, all that hiking that you and I do. Me in the city, and you as someone who just straight up doesn't go outside.
Stormer says they need to get Lysan out of there. Thorns or no thorns. What? Huh? What does that mean?
I mean, if you say thorns or no thorns, then you could have omitted that part of the sentence entirely.
Is she implying that they're going to pull Lysan out of there wrapped in thorns?
Who knows? We gotta save her, even if she is completely just tied up in a bow of thorns. Pizzazz and Roxy didn't seem to hear the part where they're poisonous.
I think Lysan actually waits until after they get cut to reveal that.
No, she doesn't.
Okay, wonderful.
When she is under them, she was like, they didn't touch me, but they are super poisonous.
I could have sworn she just said, they didn't touch me, but anyway.
Nope.
So, Pizzazz and Roxy crawl over here. Pizzazz gets, just nicked somewhere, and we get a very gratuitous shot of, a gash going across the back of Roxy's hand and, blood coming out.
Yeah, she was cut open.
So they at least managed to stay all right enough to pull Lysan out of there without getting her cut as well. And then we have Pizzazz and Roxy they're not feeling too hot here. They both collapse, and oh no, they're poisonous. Oh shit, we need to get them back to the village, but we can't carry them. What are we gonna do?
3 of them can't carry 2 of them?
Well, to be fair to Lysan, very small woman. And I would assume Roxy's got those punch muscles, so she's probably a bit heavier than the rest of them.
Leave Lysan with 1 of them, have 2 of them carry 1 back, and then
do it again.
Come back for the second one, yeah.
But no, the Yeti arrives here, and Stormer and Jetta react as they should to a Yeti being like, oh, fuck, oh my god, get away, please, as they throw snowballs at it.
And some rocks.
Well...
The Yeti don't give a shit.
Jetta grabs a big rock, and looks like she's going to bum rush him and throw the rock at him. And she even says, I didn't know the abominable snowman existed!
It does, and as said Yeti approaches Pizzazz and looms over her for some strange reason, Pizzazz goes, Dad?
Is that you? And then he okay, so the first things first here, Kristen. I could have sworn Jetta and Stormer were standing in front of Pizzazz and Roxy. The Yeti would have to go through them to get to Pizzazz and Roxy, but then we just cut to a shot of him approaching them. So...
They just let the Yeti. They're like, oh no, fuck this.
So the Yeti, strokes Pizzazz's face, kind of, or
Is there a cut subplot in this episode where the Yeti literally falls in love with Pizzazz?
I feel like there's enough there that that's kind of what happened, but I'm glad they cut it out if it was cut out.
That's why the Yeti disappears halfway through the episode.
So as Jetta is picking up this big-ass rock here, Lysan, with her hat back somehow, is just like, no, wait! He's trying to help! So the Yeti picks up Pizzazz and Roxy, and they're just like, this way! So they point the Yeti toward the direction of the village.
They're good for now.
We fade back to Gem and Company at the village, and she's just like, Andrew, is there any chance of finding Shangri-La ourselves? Are we gonna have to fucking go out in this goddamn frozen wasteland, alone? And Andrew's just kind of like, we probably don't have a chance, so best not to try.
So the Yeti slides onto the scene, and Stormer is like, Pizzazz and Roxy got super sick from winter foliage poison.
The Yeti just fucks off here at this point as well after he sets them down.
For the rest of the episode.
And Lowan is just kind of like, there is no medicine for snowbriar poison. Only the magic music of Shangri-La can possibly cure them. Okay, lady. All right, first of all, one, you're a great-grandmother. And I don't want to knock Hansa Village here. Modern medicine can probably cure them.
It's like how in season 2 of Buffy, a demon gets summoned, and the whole mythos behind it says not a single weapon forged can destroy it. So Buffy's solution is, a single weapon forged, well, this is the 90s. Let's break into a military base and get a rocket launcher. And because those didn't exist when this demon was summoned, the rocket launcher kills it pretty good.
My solution would have just been Buffy being like, let me get a gun, but I like rocket launcher better.
Uh-huh. And she kills it in one single hit after all the build-up for it being, like, impossible to kill.
Fucking Resident Evil 4.
There you go. So they can't get a rocket launcher and just shoot the sick out of Pizzazz and Roxy. So they need to go to Shangri-La because penicillin doesn't exist here.
Apparently, yes. And yeah, so we fade to Jem, again confronting Lowan here. They really, like, seriously need to find Shangri-La, and Lowan still is just like, fucking, only the true can find Shangri-La.
Jem's like, but they'll die!
So they shall die.
What the fuck?
This reminds me a lot of something in Star Trek, Kristen, called the Prime Directive of Starfleet, which is, if you encounter a culture that does not have warp technology out in space, you gotta let them, if they're, like, fucking killing themselves, you gotta let them do that, because if you introduce the element of, hey, look at this fucking crazy technology, that's not good.
Interesting.
So, there's a lot of things that are, there's a lot of, like, episodes about that where they're kind of wrestling with, should we save these people that are gonna fucking destroy themselves, basically. Including an episode where Riker gets god powers, is gifted god powers, and is basically tempted to use them throughout the episode. And Captain Picard, so they're down on a planet, and there's a little girl that's dying, and Riker's just like, I could probably save her with my god powers. And Picard's like, you better not do it.
Oh, jeez.
So the little girl dies.
That's stone cold.
It's very stone cold. This was a season 1 episode, so TNG was pretty fucking rough in that one, where I don't think Picard would have stood for that later. But anyway.
See, so in this episode, the decree that Pizzazz and Roxy will die without the music is just a narrative device that allows Jem to have her cake and eat it. Because she would not have gotten to Shangri-La if Pizzazz and Roxy weren't sick and she felt like she needed to now, but then she still gets her fancy new music later.
End of segment 2, Roxy and Pizzazz are still clearly in rough shape here, as they spend most of the rest of the episode on a bed just going like, bleh. Segment 3 starts with a bit of a retread of the last scene here, where instead of only the true can find Shangri-La, only the pure can find Shangri-La.
She says again, Jem, you're false. She doesn't say Jem because she never asked her name because it's rude. But after 5,000 hints, Jem is like, oh! False.
Of course. So she grabs her earring and says, "Showtime's over, Synergy," which is, that's not... Excuse me?
That doesn't sound right. It's time for the show, Synergy. Curtain call, Synergy. Performance time, Synergy. Closing night, Synergy.
Break a leg, Synergy.
What?
So she does Showtime's over Synergy here and turns into Jerrica, and Lowan just screams out, "It is magic!"
And Jerrica does not have time to explain what a hologram is to this lady.
She doesn't even explain who she is, so...
Nope.
This is one of those ones where I know I've said before that it's only the holograms and the president that know that Jem is Jerrica. It's technically this lady too, but I mean... Maybe technically she doesn't
know who Jem and the holograms are anyway.
She doesn't know who Jem and the holograms are. She doesn't know who Jerrica Benton is, so
yeah.
It doesn't count.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And immediately she grabs a map out of a treasure box right next to her, and it's just like, here's the map to Shangri-La. Oh my god, get out of here, witch.
And Jem hugs her, which, don't do that. And runs out of the tent. Still a la Jerrica.
Without transforming, yes.
You dumbass.
But it doesn't matter, because we fade to Jem and company on a high ridge. According to the map, Shangri-La should be right in front of them.
And we clearly see through the fog a village.
There's kind of a city there, and Jem is still like, maybe it's a myth after all. Oh wait, there it is, as the clouds part.
They lose hope for 0.2 seconds to add some drama.
So Jem and Co. head to the Golden Gates, upon which they are greeted by a big fucking weirdo, the gatekeeper.
By a racist caricature.
So yeah, he's just kind of just like, welcome to Shangri-La. Look at all these people here at Shangri-La. It's beautiful. We got all the music and poetry ever. It's going to be great. Hey, why don't I give you a tour?
Can you come with us, actually? Because there are almost dead people back at the village. And the gatekeeper's like, oh, no. Would love to.
However,
the people of Shangri-La do not age. And if they leave, they'll just die.
So the caveat of Shangri-La here, where yes, you live forever, but you can't leave. So Little Hotel California.
Joe!
Yes.
Hey, Joe!
Yes.
You know what the craziest thing about this episode is?
What is that?
The rest of the holograms and Andrew are tempted into immortality. And they just kind of give it up without much of a fight. They gloss right over this, where they're like, no, we think we might actually stay and live forever. And Jem's like, don't. And they're like, okay, you're right, let's go. They give up immortality.
They do. It's another fucking, Jem, we want to stay here. We can't just think of ourselves. Okay. And then they leave.
And not even why don't you go now? Kimber's like really feeling these finger sandwiches. Kimber thinks she's gonna stay and have a picnic forever.
Why don't you go and come back and we can live forever here?
That sounds great. Let's do that.
But that scene doesn't happen for a little bit anyway.
Well, okay, so because the people die instantly after they leave, Jem is like, well, shit, how are we gonna get the healing music to them then? And
the gatekeeper basically goes, do it yourself, idiot!
Oh.
Aren't you musicians, you fucking stupid dumbasses?
Jem might be a musician, we're not sure. She's a vocalist.
The High Lama must deem her worthy. So Jem follows the gatekeeper while, yes, the rest of the crew heads off to fuck around in this paradise where they will never die.
Cool. This is like turning into, I don't know, some kind of I have no mouth and I must scream thing where it seems perfect and then there's a like horrible twist at the end.
Yeah, you see the whole thing. That's what I was going to say is, barring some, living forever seems cool until some jackass takes over everything and it becomes terrible.
I've seen the Rotel Dorado. Two gay assholes come and they pretend that they're gods. They're touching on each other a lot. So, Chell's there to touch on them too.
Yeah, nice!
Yeah. Chell's a good character, I like
She
her.
is, yes. The gatekeeper explains that the High Lama is the keeper of all the arts in the universe and whatever, and there's a fade. Jem suddenly isn't wearing her jacket anymore, and is just like, wow, that's great. Wait a minute.
She doesn't put it back on either for the rest of the episode.
Wait a minute, where did the gatekeeper go?
And we don't see him again.
Well, we do see him as he sees them off later, but the High Lama is here, and he looks just kind of like a general, kind of old wisdom guy with a Fu Manchu.
He looks like a cartoon of Gandhi.
Jem explains that they wanted a new sound, and that was the reason for their journey at the beginning, but she keeps getting cut off by him as she tries to explain about, like, everything. Like, she gets cut off there, and then she gets cut off about Roxy and Pizzazz, and I like how in her explanation as well she says that there are two very sick girls.
Two very dead girls.
So he pulls out some bongos here and a big fucking lute or something. I don't even know what instrument this is, because a lute's pretty small looking at it. This thing has like a longer neck, but it's not like a sitar, because I've seen Courage the Cowardly Dog, and sitars are big.
They are. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is either, but it's some sort of string instrument. And they sit down and Jem's like, oh my god, you're gonna teach me the music?
No, we're gonna have tea. Fucking pay attention.
Well, okay. This does seem like it was easier than Jem was anticipating it would be. She doesn't even really have to convince him. He just gives her bongos and tells her to sit the fuck down.
Yeah, the High Lama's a little catty, though. Maybe there is some unrest in Shangri-La, and he's just tired of people that are, like, so fucking mystified with everything. Like, wow, whoa, it's like you've been living here for 100 years. Oh my god. Stop being surprised at things.
Calm down. Why did you bring kids to Shangri-La to live forever? Haven't you seen Interview with the Vampire? When a little kid is immortal, they're fucking miserable.
Fucking Lost Boys up in this bitch. So this scene happens here where Let the Music Play basically plays in the background as the High Lama teaches Jem, which,
Shangri-La, Shangri-La, Shangri-La.
I've never heard
Shangri-La, la, 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 la.
I've never heard a sound so beautiful.
Of course not.
Duncan everywhere. Jesus, High Lama, slow down. You're gonna fight. This is an NBA Jam. God.
It's magic music. Of course you haven't heard anything like it. Music is magic.
A bird flies by for some reason, and Jem gets the blessing of the llama, heads off to round up the gang, and here is, yes, where they're all having a picnic, and...
Their immortality picnic.
Shannon's just like, we're thinking about staying here because living forever sounds cool as shit. And Jem goes, yes, we can't just think of ourselves here, so we gotta go. And Kimber's just like,
okay.
But we didn't even get to finish our picnic.
Well, unfortunately, Jem implored them to reconsider, so...
Jem says that they're going to have a picnic when they get home. Fuck off, let's go. And the gatekeeper sees them off. Shangri-La will always be with you.
And also with you.
Amen. Back to the village.
Amen.
Stormer is more worried than ever. What can they do? And Eric's like, damn it, Jim, I'm a music producer, not a doctor.
And Loan comes in to be a dick. And she has a basketball, and she says, even if you were, it wouldn't matter. And then she dunks on Eric's head.
Boom shakalaka!
Yeah.
Talk about pessimism. Holy fuck. Loan, you don't know about, you're a fucking great-grandmother in this remote Asian village in Tibet. Oh my god. You don't know.
Pessimism if she's just an asshole.
That's true. It's just assholism.
Yeah.
It's fucking... They could probably take some ibuprofen and they'd be fine.
Yeah, and get the inflammation down a little bit. Lezon is like, this is my fault. They were trying to save me. And Loan's like, yeah, it is your fault. But not because they tried to save you, but because you tried to show them Shangri-La.
You dumbass.
Now you learn your lesson. You disobey me, you murder some rock ladies. This is your fault. You killed them.
You're gonna harbor this shit for the rest of your life, you murderer!
Hold this knife for me for a second. Perfect. Now your fingerprints are on it. You killed them. I'm turning you in.
And then Bonnie just takes off a trench coat, standing in the background. It's Bonnie on Ashley's shoulders, and it's just like, all right, motherfucker, you're under arrest.
She's a tape recorder and goes into it. We got him, Diane.
So Jem and company arrive back at this point, and they set up to let the music play. Song number 3 of the evening, which really is only played by... Rhea has the bongos, and Jem has the sitar lute here, and that's what they use to let the music play here. Song number 3 of the evening, Let the Music Play. I don't like this song, Kristen.
Me neither. Huh, how about that?
And not only that, nothing happens in the video where there's, it's the same red, purple, pink flower petal shit flying at the screen, and occasional shots of, Pizzazz's hand getting infused with anti-venom.
Magic anti-venom. The lyrics just slowly escalate from, music can move you... Music makes you feel better. Music will heal you.
Music will raise the dead.
Zombie magic. I think this is voodoo, but Tibetan.
Tibetan voodoo.
Tibetan voodoo.
It'll bring you back to life. Whatever.
But Zaz couldn't die in the first place. Her husk would have withered away, but then her spirit would have come out and definitely possessed Stormer.
Oh my god. And she Stormer ends up getting a pizzazz facial features and kind of like yellow streaks in her hair, kind of. And that's my favorite kind of character thing, where two characters, not necessarily like a fusion dance thing, but where characters start taking on the traits of another one when they're possessed.
Like when Kimber started turning into Misfits Kimber.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
amazing.
She was possessed by love, by lesbian love.
So yeah, Pizzazz and Roxy are fine. They get up here and, Roxy's like, I was having such a weird dream, and you were there, and you were there,
and a Yeti was there,
and Eric was dead. So we fade at this point. Eric is trying to check if Pizzazz's fever is gone, and here is where that, like engine in her voice comes out, where she's just like, I told you, I'm fine!
And Roxy is similarly annoyed because Andrew is checking on her to see if she's okay, and she says, back off, you fucking turkey!
Jem and company thank Lowen. They're gonna be heading off here, and I'm sure she's just like, never come back! Get out of here!
How dare you take the music of Shangri-La out to the masses?
The Misfits head off here in the opposite direction. If Jem and company can find Shangri-La, so can they. And then I believe Jem goes something along the lines of, I guess they're back to normal after all.
And Kimber gets a very strange line where she goes, I can't wait for all my fans to hear the Shangri-La song.
What? Kimber? Wait, what?
And my band, Kimber and Aja.
Kimber and Kimber.
Kimber. Kimber.
The Kimber sisters. Kimber. The new spin-off of Sister Sister.
Perfect.
We fade to the Misfits. They find Shangri-La. They're up on that same, rock ledge area as the clouds part, and everybody's like, it's Shangri-La! And then it disappears.
And it gets replaced by impact font that says, get dunked on.
It's like it never existed.
I And then the episode's basically over.
I mean, we don't even get a thing where it's Lindsay going, and now, the Gem and the Holograms' new rock smash!
Tell us all about your journey to Shangri-La!
We have just a replay of the Shangri-La song, again, here, with the same imagery and everything. There's a shot of a goat, which I don't remember seeing in the first one, but then again, I might not have been paying attention, so...
Who knows?
Goat. Anyway, that was Journey to Shangri-La, and fuck. Ugh. Jesus.
I'm sad, because this episode had some good Misfits moments. I think that's the only thing that saved it.
I mean, the Misfits are a shining point of basically any episode, except maybe Music is Magic, but...
Yeah.
But it's not that great, mostly because it's got a lot of things in it that probably, again... Maybe would have even I don't know. Okay, I wasn't alive in the 80s, Kristen. If I watched this episode, I would have gotten such a wrong impression of Tibet.
I am sure that in the 80s this episode was like so educational. Like, hey, let us teach you about this mythical city and how it influences the culture through their like music and art.
Do a goddamn episode about Atlantis if you want to do a fucking mystical city.
Right? I want to see Gem and the Holograms go underwater.
That way, we're not going to be making these weird caricatures of Asian people.
You can reuse Come On In the Water's Fine.
Oh, no, please don't. Oh, my God.
I'm just saying the content is already there. They could have done it and they chose not to.
I think that the episode it does have some high points, but it's just like we just had a snow episode. Oh God, I hate snow so much. I'm so tired of goddamn snow. And not only that, but we've got just as bad, if not worse, stuff of like Adventure in China. And mystical music is like, I understand, but it's an 80s girl band. It's the same thing with like, do they need to do a train tour of the southwestern United States? Do they need to do a concert in Alaska? This doesn't seem like something this band should be doing.
Couldn't they allocate their money a little bit better in how they spend it? Couldn't Bonnie have stayed in Alaska for another week with the money they spent going to Shangri-La?
Not only that, it seemed like just a pretty unpleasant experience all around for them to be in Shangri-La for maybe an hour.
They complained most of the time.
So, overall, I'd say not Rick Merwin's best effort, but then again, we've seen Rick Merwin is the gold standard of an average Gem episode.
Yep, that is certainly the case.
So now's the point in the evening where I'll list off all of the fun contact things, where you can find us. You can follow us on the Twitter machine at CWTAPod. You can follow me at Octopus, that's AWKTAPUS.
You can follow me at FunnyGirlTM, like trademark.
You can find us on the iTunes, on the SoundCloud, on the Stitcher Radio, on the YouTube. Leave a rating, give a review, do whatever you feel like. You could also drop us a line, cwtapod@gmail.com, where you can tell us all about poisonous snow breers and your own personal Shangri-La, because probably, Kristen, I would assume Shangri-La is a metaphor.
Like Salt Lake City in the Book of Mormon.
So, Kristen, next week, if you didn't think a fucking magical, mystical Asian city was fantastical enough for this goddamn show about a girl band, we have a third episode in a row that I love...
How do we amp it up? How do we amp it up?
That I love to complain about. I don't even know if I complain about it. I just use it as like a sticking point with Intrigue at the Indy 500. Even if the episode is better than I remember, we still have two things that are big sticking points. One, the holograms are traveling through time. Two, Rock and Roll is Forever is in that song, which, hey, good song, but if you'll remember, Kristen, this is where we have Aja flying on a Japanese flag dressed as a geisha.
Yeah. So...
And that's the one that sticks the most with me because we're obviously, confused about Aja's Asian heritage here.
No, the cartoon is confused.
Well, yes. So get ready for all that garbage. That's all I'm going to say, really. For the Can We Talk About podcast, my name is Joe.
I am Kristen.
And join us next time for a Journey Through Time.
Check is through time.
That's my, my quantum leap noise flying through time.
You did good. Yeah.